Recording is in progress. What up, Rebels? Andy McCabe here. Joe Spears over here. We're gonna do the thing. This is the the 23rd of March, 2023, the Restoration Rebel Roundtable. Yeah, man, I got some things to talk about today. But first, we're gonna do the do. Where is it? Where's my share screen? We're gonna talk about what it means to be a Restoration Rebel. Here you go. Agreement number 1, I will protect the value of my services. Offering free services, only service will erode the value of similar services industry-wide. Agreement number 2, I'll practice incredible transparency. I will explain the claim process to my client. I will not hide pricing details or falsify reports. I will never communicate with an adjuster without also communicating with my client. Number 3, I do not believe in competition. The restoration companies in my market are part of my community. I'll be an active member of my community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change that we strive for. Interesting email I got today on that subject. Agreement number 4, I am willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that is not compatible with my values and stated mission. No relationship is worth losing money, sleep, or my humanity. So some people got an email or a message from AIR today, the Alliance of Independent Restorers. And while they're not closing, right? The group is still going to be there, evidently. They are no longer taking dues. It's interesting. I wonder how many people here listening or whatever are or were members of AIR and what that means to them. I'm not going to go into it because I don't think we need to drag up any drama, any unnecessary drama. But yeah, interesting that AIR has decided to not be AIR anymore, which is sad to me a little bit. That we as an industry couldn't get behind a fledgling organization that had nothing but the best of intentions. But also, did we really need another association? I think that's the discussion we had before AIR was even created, before I created AIR. That was a discussion. Do we really need to do this? Is this a necessary thing? Does this industry need another association? And I guess the answer is no, it does not. Were you, Joe, were you ever involved in the AIR thing? The thing that was AIR?
No, I was never involved in them. I mean, I've always strictly been IIC and then Rebels and RIA. Those are really the only 3 entities I really ever involved myself in, just because it was already so much time going on with those 3. I ain't got enough time for another one. Like you said, we really don't need another one. We need the current ones we have to step up and produce, not replace them, because they've already got the skeletons there for all the company, all the different groups already. Like, we just need them to perform better.
Yeah, please, please do something for me. Speaking of, I have been, it's no secret, a renewed fan of the Restoration Industry Association, and I will be in Orlando next month. I will have a booth. My company will have a booth, even though my company doesn't have a name yet. We can call it Claims Delegates, but it's going to be different. It's going to be something else. So I invite everyone here, listening, watching, whether you're watching live or you're going to catch it on a recording. My guess is you're going to catch it on a recording because there's no one here. Look at the RIA. I invite you to become a member. It's very economical. And get your butt over to Orlando next month. And let's see what we can do as a group to reinvigorate this organization that has nothing but upside, nothing but incredible potential to help the average restorer. But they can't do it alone. They can't do it with 1,500 members. They need us. We need 20,000 members in the RIA so we can start doing some cool shit there. Probably never going to let me be president, though. I'm just guessing. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm too toxic, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the RIA. I'm trying to make it out there this year. It'll be the first time I've ever went to a conference myself, but
Really?
I'm kind of, yeah, I've
First
never,
conference ever?
every other time I've ever been, I've always been, just a peon at another company. There's no reason for me to have to go. Right now, though, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going. I'll put it that way. Because I'm either going to have to cover myself, or I think my company, Blue River, is actually going to have me go out there and kind of represent them as well while I'm there, because we do all the commercial work and everything. But I'm trying to be there. So especially, I'm going to be looking forward to meeting you and everybody else. But if you guys are coming, I'd love to shake hands and meet as many of our members as possible.
I will buy the first round.
I'll try to buy the second, and I'll buy my own third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. I know that. But
That's a very
yeah, no,
non-committal
I mean,
answer, Mr. Spears.
but like I said, it's financial stuff. It's with the kids and everything. I've got 2 kids that are literally both in elementary school that suck me dry. So, but
They
no,
haven't even
I
gotten
mean,
expensive yet. Come on.
you can't even, both my kids have Oculuses. Both my kids have Nintendo Switches. They both have iPads. I mean, my kids are expensive children, and it's my own fault. So I can't really
I
complain.
got you. I got you.
But no, I mean, as far as conferences go, that's what sucks is realistically, like the only 2 conferences that are worthwhile in our industry is Experience in Vegas, which I don't need to be in Vegas. Like that's just asking for me to get in trouble. Or, Florida, which I mean, if I'm going to go to Florida, like I'm going to have to take enough time off to go to Disney while I'm there. So
Yeah. That was we weren't able to swing it this year. It was definitely, we already did Disneyland this year, so doing Disney World would have been a stretch, I think, for us. But my kids are mountain bikers, downhill mountain bikers. So I got 2 full suspension mountain bikes I got to pay for. I got to pay for the season pass in snowboarding. I got to pay for 2 snowboards. I got to pay for new boots every year because they're growing like weeds. Oh yeah, I got you. I'm spending more on my 2 boys, I think, right now. So I had a conversation today. Well, first off, Joe, do you have anything to bring up? And we have Lou is in the room, but I can't see him, can't hear him. What do you guys got going this week?
same thing, different day. My kids are getting ready to go on spring break, which is going to be amazing because my wife is taking them to some indoor water park, like 4.5 hours away for a few days. So I'm going to have peace and quiet and get caught up finally on work.
And sleep.
Yeah. But outside of there, I mean, I got a new fire job in yesterday. That's going to be a nice one, and chugging along on just same thing, different day. Nothing really popped off. It seems like we're in that part of the year right now where you don't get a lot of storms, and it's everything's kind of just quiet and peaceful. So everybody's playing catch up, but we're probably a month away from spring showers. So we should be getting some flooding in the Midwest here real soon, and that'll be nice and eventful, I'm sure.
I read an article that said something like 80% of the continental United States is under the threat of flooding this year due to unseasonably wet rain patches and the incredibly huge snowpack in the Sierra Nevadas right now.
Oh yeah. I imagine. Every year though, it seems like the storms. It used to be April showers bring May flowers. Nowadays, it's more like May showers bring June flowers. Like everything's getting pushed out a little bit longer. But the storms we are getting seem to be getting a little bit more destructive in nature every turn of the year.
I really do. All right, I want to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about: third-party reviewers. I had somebody call me up. They got a hold of my consulting line and paid me no insignificant sum of money to talk to them for an hour about their problem. And I don't know how to describe it, so I'm just going to show it to you. This third-party review company called Fast. What's it? Fast.
Oh, fast response. Yeah, those are always great people.
Fair, accurate settlement team.
I'd rather communicate with Wardlaw. Like I actually got along back in my day. I got along with Wardlaw. Like one of the Wardlaw guys actually jokingly said, Joe, he's like, of all the people I have to review, I look for when I see your name because I know that your F9 nodes are already going to be there. So any questions I have, I know you're gonna immediately have a good answer. It's not gonna sound like you're bullshitting me, and it's gonna be a very simple communication. He's like, I don't have to tear your estimate apart because it's already on point. And I was like, and that was 5 years ago. Like I like Wardlaw. Fast though sucks.
So this was a Cat 3, involved some mold. They're pushing up against their mold cap of 10 grand, but it's a $93,000 loss. That Fast came back and trying to shave 10 grand off. But it's not about the amount. It's about how they were trying to do it. So what Fast did is open up the supporting events tab and looked at the demo labor description of the supporting events. So the 3 items in question.
39.583% for demo 2 labor.
Yes.
Yep.
So the let me come over to the items. I'm going to start there. Let me share the screen and we'll start there. I think I've done enough lead in here. Okay, here we go. So here was the 3 items in question: CLN F-, CLN STD, and CLN JST.
Okay.
So they did the demo, they cut out the drywall, and so they used WTR, DRY, WS. They used this line item. But Fast, in their infinite wisdom and incredible wealth of knowledge and experience, looked into the WTR, DRY, WS. And they went to their supporting events and pulled this up. And they said, because the supporting events mentions debris removal and floor sweeping or vacuuming in immediate workspace, said this constitutes debris removal and floor sweeping or vacuuming in immediate workspace constitutes the cleaning of the floor, the cleaning of the stud wall, and the cleaning of the joists. So they are not going to pay for the cleaning of the joists, the cleaning of the stud wall, and cleaning of the floor because it's already included in the WTR, DRY, WS.
And that's a lie.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
Cleaning up the debris, the drywall debris, and sweeping the floor up of the debris is different from cleaning the stud walls. And the S500 even references, let me see, I have it saved right here. It is, let's see here, where is it at? It is cleaning. That's low pressure. Hang on, I got a million notes here. The cleaning action actually is, so cleaning, or S500 5th edition, page 126, cleaning section E. Detailed cleaning by damp wiping, the process of thoroughly removing soils and contaminants from the work area, wiping or mopping with a towel, sponge, or mop that has been wrung out tightly after being immersed in a cleaning solution containing mild detergent, disinfectant, or sanitizing agent. Yep. That is what the definition of cleaning is.
So that's where this my client is going to respond with that snippet from the S500, and his argument is, yeah, cleaning and sweeping and a little bit of debris removal doesn't require any chemicals, doesn't require any process.
It just means you're like, if I cut a bunch of drywall and I have debris all over the ground, I'm sweeping up that debris and I'm picking up the drywall particles or the drywall chunks and everything, and I'm cleaning up the worker zone. But it doesn't have anything to do with me wiping down studs, HEPA vacuuming studs, or any of that. You still have to do that with a wet rag. Yeah, I mean,
in what I told him, Mr. Ivory, I can't wait to hear your take on this. I know you do. You have a take on this, but
I just joined. I don't know what you're guys talking about.
All right, I'll review for you. So at the end of the day, what I told him to do is
Who's him?
explain that the supporting events of any labor item is only there to describe the labor efficiency and the labor yield. Supporting events do not prescribe any job activity, right? So that's what I told him to go back with. I don't care what the
and even
supporting
the
events say. The supporting events are there to describe the labor yield for any given activity.
But not only that, but it also says, if you finish reading that sentence, independent of any final cleaning activity. Final
Yes.
cleaning is, I mean, the only difference is final cleaning is not, you know, it's not calculating out on the square footage of the stud walls or the joists, because you've got this much and everything else. Like, no, cleaning is independent of any. So you want me to take the cleaning line items off? Okay, then pay me for final cleanup, do a final cleaning under my CLNR or HMRT line items or trade set.
Yeah. Can you see this, Sean? Can you see my share screen?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm so happy that we use time and material and not using Xactimate anymore.
I know, right? So this Fugazi file review company called Fast tried to say that because my client, let me see if this pulls up. I don't know if you can see that window or not. He used the WTR DRYWS line item, tearing out drywall, because the supporting event in tearing out the drywall describes debris removal and floor sweeping, that it was unnecessary for him to then use the clean stud wall, clean floor, and clean joist line items because it was already included in the drywall removal. That was the argument that this company is trying to use to take $10,000 off of this bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You ever heard that before? I've never heard it before. It's a first for me.
They're trying, they're trying to, I mean, remember that if they take 10 grand off, they still get paid on that number. So they want to try to take off whatever they can, any which way possible. And a non-educated person might, you know, an Xactimate might even fall for that. But no, like that is complete bullshit. I mean, I would say I'll put it this way here. Go, if you look at your supporting events, go to your components. Is there anything for rags or chemical included in the material component list?
Well, there is, because I have the other items in there right now. I have the clean floor, clean stud. I'm going to take those out. I'll take those out. And now go to components. Nope. Labor and plastic bags. That is it.
Yep.
Interesting. So, Sean, how the hell have you been, man? Where have I been all your life?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Doing good. You know, thinking to go to Florida next month. Anybody?
Nice. All
you guys
right.
gonna be at the RIA?
I'll be there. I'm buying the first round, so you got to catch me.
All right. I'm only doing once. Well, I can't have more than one.
That's perfect.
How you doing? How is everything? You still in Bend?
Oh yeah. Bend is beautiful. We got a little snow falling today. The mountain is amazing. Looking forward to the snow melting so I can get it back on my mountain bike. But yeah, man, that's good. So how long have you guys been time and material? And what was the reasoning behind that move?
We was doing for maybe 2 or 3 years time and material on Xactimate.
Okay.
And we did it day by day. Like every day we had another day. And the adjuster or whatever, the reviewer tried to chop it because they see it as Xactimate. You have an Xactimate, give me this, give me this.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a sex. We want to, and then I'm like, no, we can't. We don't have it. We don't give it away anymore, you know. And so we move it to House Call Pro. We put the line, basically the line item that we use on Xactimate, like Xactimate description, on House Call Pro, and we put the prices on it, and we get a lot less pushback, you know. We're not paying for right now what we're not getting paid for, or the, you know, are we getting back from Sedgwick because we're not paying for
So-
gas.
So you are you're literally doing whatever time you spend
Mhm.
plus your receipts. Is that how it works?
Yes.
I mean, especially if you're using like T&M Pro, like time and material is the absolute best, most upfront way to bill. It's the best way. The problem is though, is most insurance companies, they want to take the mitigation and use that as a reference point for the reconstruction.
Mhm.
And when you just say 3 guys for 8.75 hours, this, DHU, blah, 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 they have no clue, well, what all did you actually do? And then I mean, it's weird because all commercial properties are always time and material in my book. Like it's just.
They want us to do the job. They want us to use what we provide. So a lot of time we tell them, we give them all the floor plan or we give them Matterport, because it's their job,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they want us to do their job. And so that we give it to them, they're okay. We not pay for this, we not pay for that.
Oh,
This is not warranted.
wait a
And
minute. So they're asking you for the Matterport, but then when you provide it, they say it's part of your cost of doing business. What do they say?
in the past few one that we got, they don't warranted Matterport, but some of them requesting it. At this point they're like, we editing, we don't have all the information. Can you give us Matterport?
This is what I do for that. For Matterports, because insurance companies hate paying for new technology. I mean, they despise, back in the day, paying for thermal cameras when they were super fucking expensive. Now they're cheap, and they're like, oh, it's part of your package now, your monitoring kit. If I get a Matterport, I will send a nice little email to the adjuster that says, hey, Mr. Adjuster, I'm Joe on the job, blah, blah, blah. Just so you are aware, we did perform a Matterport of this property at the beginning and at the end. And I've ordered the true sketch information, blah, blah, blah. If you would like to see a copy of the Matterport and everything, please send me a request, and I will respond, and I will happily send it over to you. Once I have it in writing that they made the request, then I'll put in my bill and I'll say Xactimate scan per adjuster's request on blah, blah, blah date. And then we don't pay for that. You requested it. Like it's not like I did it just
because
because
email.
Yeah, here's the email where you specifically said you wanted to see a copy of my Matterport. If you want a copy of it, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, we had one. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You go, my friend.
Since you change Zoom, the way you log into Zoom, it's so hard to get into the Zoom call.
It is?
Yeah.
So do I need to tear down the walls and just make it open to everybody without signing in?
I'm trying. I'm going a lot of time on when you have it on Facebook, but a lot of time I try to log in. I don't have the password, or it's kicking me out. And the time, when we used to have it on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday night. It was awesome. This time,
that's true.
Every other Thursday we have a meeting at 5 o'clock our way. So like a networking. So that's
hey, I'll put it to the group. I'm not afraid to change time.
But when it was in the beginning on Wednesday night, it was religious for me. I enjoy it. But
yeah, I mean, those Matterports though, I mean, it makes everyone's life easier. Like in my opinion, first off, if you're a company and you're not doing Matterport or DocuSketch, not only are you 5 years behind the times, but you're also opening yourself up to so much liability. It's so much easier to validate, oh, we didn't scratch your fridge. Your grandma's great grandma's precious moments Gerald Ford doll was not on the table when we were there.
Gerald Ford.
But so every company should be. And I mean, the best way to do it is you do one on day one before any work begins. Do one once all the demo's done and your equipment's set up, so you can visually, your estimators. That way, even if your techs are not the best at demo notes, your estimator should be able to visually see what was done there without question. Because no estimator at all wants to look through 500 photographs of a close-up picture of the wall and have no idea where that picture was from.
No, one of my favorite things to do is to do that. You know how to link up specific views in Matterport, right?
Yep.
When you have the view, you have the space open, you hit the letter U on the keyboard, and that link will come up. And wherever you go, it's actually attached to wherever that camera is facing. So my favorite thing is to link up things that I'm referring to. You know, if there's you don't know how to do that? Oh, you want me to show you?
No, I never did it. I know it's available, but I never.
Oh, you can
Oh, it's
embed
so good.
everything into, you can literally embed your ESX file, your PDF file, and photos into your Matterport link. So when they go to this wall, there's a little dot, they click on it. Here's all the photos of this room that are, subsequently and it makes life a lot easier when trying to send over a massive photo document or photo documentation packet work over. But yeah, I mean, everybody should be doing DocuSketch or Matterport. Whether or not, if you got good estimators and you don't care about the sketches as much, or you're doing time material, Matterport. If you want a uniform sketch across the board, DocuSketch is the way to go right currently. But I mean,
say that again. Wait a minute. What?
So Matterport is $65 a month for a normal professional account with 25 spaces.
Okay.
You get the scans, and that's all you pay for it. And you can either use your phones or you can invest in the cameras. But if you want the sketches, you got to pay between $75 and $358 on average for them. DocuSketch is $300 a month. You get 10 unique properties. You can scan the same property 100 times, but you get 10 unique properties, which will include your ESX sketch. And then it's $15 per sketch afterwards.
Mhm.
So if you are wanting the sketch every time, go DocuSketch, sadly. But if you're like me and Andy and know how to do an overlay and sketch over top of it, or you only occasionally need the numbers, I mean, Matterport's the best way to go. I mean, Matterport, you can have every technician with an iPhone or an Android nowadays scan the property for you. I mean, it's a better product in that regards. They just don't have a great cost-effective setup for getting the Xactimate files.
No, they don't. But the image underlay it's a viable option on the majority of the files you're gonna do.
Yeah, and then, but I mean, like I said, from a liability standpoint for a company, you should have them just because in 5 years, I mean, think of how quick people turn over water techs and mitigation managers at a company for a lot of people.
I heard yesterday the average tenure for a water tech. I'm going to put it to you guys. What do you think the average tenure is for a water tech?
6 years.
Okay, Sean or Mr. Ivory.
Every 10 years. What do you mean?
How long does the average water technician stay at one company?
Construction. I don't know if they need a plumber or not.
What'd you say?
It depends on the company. There's people that it's a family. Probably 6 years. It's
I would say on average, a water tech will stay at a single company for probably no more than 6 years before he either gets burnt out and takes a break, or he gets shitty that he's not moving up the ladder and he'll change companies.
You guys are way off.
3 years
For that.
9 months.
9 months.
I was a water tech for 15 years.
It's a shitty job. The vast majority of our industry does not pay commensurate with the job. And guys will leave for a 50-cent boost per hour. 9 months.
Almost everyone that left us over the year, they try to come back.
Yeah, because they said, "Oh shit."
That's true in my marketplace as well. It's like everybody I know in the industry for the most part, I know pretty much everybody at every company because we've all worked with each other. We get shitty or we get tired and we quit. We go move to another company. We move back. Everyone just plays musical chairs within a region. But I mean, most water techs, like they get after about 6 years, they get exhausted and they either, if they've not moved up the ladder yet, they take about a year or two off. And then but a lot of times they even still come back after that because they realize they can't make as much money anywhere else.
You know what I see with the best techs that I've seen and trained and worked with over the years? The best techs leave and start their own businesses. They leave. I mean, I got 2 examples of that in Bend. I've got 2 examples of that.
Yeah, not everybody built to run their own business.
You know, I don't know if everyone should make their own business. I feel like the marketplace in some areas is oversaturated already, and that's one of our biggest issues on on our numbers are is because there's such
Hmm.
an saturation and such a starting level for every estimator. You know what I mean? That like every company has a different price. It seems like it's hard to have a uniform industry.
Well,
I
then
mean,
that goes without
it's just like all the
saying.
general contractors who see, you know, I've seen so many GCs want to get into the restoration game because I see how much money you water guys are making. I want to get a bite of that. And then they don't take the time to even learn the industry. They think they already know it. And that's where we have all the problems at. But yeah, I'd like to say with the Matterport, if you got to have files, I mean, you can get sued in 3 years, 5 years down the road and stuff for work you done. And if you don't have good documentation, you're going to be the one in trouble. So the Matterport game is important there. I mean, adjusters.
Yeah, you've got to, but there's a cost with that I think a lot of folks are not willing to bear. So you know, anything beyond a year, I'm dropping my Matterport files, right?
I archive them, but I mean, I don't delete any file. Like I just archive it. It's unlimited archive.
I might need to change my subscription status because I don't have archive as an option.
Yeah, so like you can have unlimited file scanned, but you can only have 25 of them on the professional account active for sharing. Like
Okay.
you can archive every other one of them you have, so you can and pull them up whenever you need to.
Does that so when you unarchive it, it just counts against your 25 cap?
Yes. So you just play musical chairs with your files as you need to.
Nice. All right.
But yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, with the adjusters, your best bet, like I said, send that email off first and say, do you want a copy of it? Yep. Okay. Now I have you on the lam. You don't have to say you're going to charge them. Just say, hey, you requested it. Now it's part of the package, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's what I do. I mean, I'm handling a claim here locally, and that's the first thing I told the contractor to do. I said, he told me the adjuster asked him if he had Matterport. And I said, well, yeah, you do. And you'll provide it for him because he asked for it. Also ask him if he needs an Xactimate, and he did. And the adjuster wrote back in an email, yes, I need it in Xactimate. Boom. Xactimate is being paid for. Matterport's being paid for.
You know, and like I said, those true sketches, I mean, on average, it's for 1,000 to 4,000 square foot home, it's $158 for the sketch. It's $389 for 4,000 to 10,000.
But if you look at it at a percentage of the job, it's nothing. Unless it's a small mitt.
Yeah, I mean, on average, a small mitt, you really don't need it. You can sketch over, it's easy. But that document, I mean, God, it saves my guys in the field. They get home to their families quicker because they don't have to spend 2 hours taking notes and writing down a scope sheet. I can just visually see what was happening.
So Sean, are you a member? You're a member of RIA, yeah?
Yes.
How long have you been a member?
I think since 2017 or something like that, 2018.
And you've only when did you start your business?
2008. The end of 2008.
Okay. Yeah. So what have you seen from the RIA that has helped you?
They'll be there between 9:30 and 12 tomorrow.
Some of the networking that we got to, it was pretty good. I know the AGA now, they're using some of the papers now. You know, we tired of vendors coming to look at my work, and they sure that they have no clue what they're doing most of the time.
How's that? What's that? Wait, you had
The issue, they have no clue what they're doing, so they don't know what they're looking at, and it's causing delay on the job. And a lot of time we call back to send someone that qualified, and even we had an IH recently they told us to cut asbestos wall
without testing.
We find asbestos. So we let the insurance know there's asbestos, so they send this guy. They say just cut it. Everybody cutting it.
Oh no!
And his IH. We see the insurance.
Did you get that in writing?
We tried to. And you know what happened?
He said, "I didn't say that."
And they sent someone else. And they send someone else, they write the asbestos, but also they scratch the name of the company from the estimate. You know, it's nonsense. But in the all right, I'll see tomorrow. In the meantime, they delay the claim. God knows, 30 days.
It just puts the brakes on everything.
Yeah. We told the homeowner, if you want us to push it, it's up to you. It's, you know, the truth, you know, what's in the standard. And she told us, it's my kids, my family. And we stayed the same until we got it. We got the scope that we provide them on day 1 or 2 to get approved. It take like 30 days, you know.
That's crazy. That it took 30 days to get it in the scope. We're like, I mean, I send my IEPs when I send them out, like I need a 24-hour turnaround time. I'm on the results, and I expect, you know, a 72-hour turnaround time after that on the report, please. Like, if that means I got to pay, you got to charge me a premium, so be it, because I'm just going to pass it along to the adjuster on my estimate. But I you know, like I tell everybody, like, you guys have got, I mean, I need my reports back as soon as possible, because either I'm going to start or I'm going to be on hold, and I need to know, and so I can plan.
I've got a file. I'm handling a file right now where JS Held took their own asbestos sampling, came back hot, but then the insurance company allowed the insured to move back into the house before anything was even cleaned up. The tree was practically still sitting in their living room with this drywall that was ACM and insulation all over the place. And they let them move back in. And then I get involved after the fact. I'm like, wait a minute, this is hot? You're living there? What? But they're, oh, it's only 2%. It's only 3%.
Yeah, it's no, but those delays, it's nonsense. Don't do anything. Hold on. No problem. We send them a bill every day. We send them the moisture report with how much it's cost them and the weight, and then they bring someone to write an estimate, like it's 3 days or 5 days job, you know.
I mean, I still remember though, 15 years ago when I was still being a water tech full time, I mean, it was common. It was the commonplace knowledge that if it's wet, the friable material is weighed down by the water molecules, so you can go ahead and demo down emergencies for the emergency service portion. And they used to tell us that all the time and stuff. And now, you know, nowadays everyone's like, that's, you know, if you have to have an extra few days to control the environment, so be it. You know, I mean, I don't mind the job taking longer, because if my DEs are sitting there, so be it. Like, I'm controlling the environment, preventing secondary damages. But I mean, if your tester and your IA that you're using is taking 30 days to get back to you, I'd be definitely shopping for somebody a little bit quicker. And I mean,
the testing didn't take the time. To trying to manipulate the scope, it's what take all the time. Because they're not agreeing the scope, so they bring someone and say, hey, just got it. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're not certified. Our guy's not certified. We can't do it. And the homeowner,
I just call third party and say, here, give me your bid price for the asbestos abatement, then I'll come in afterwards and finish the dry out up.
We try to get it in writing. You told us that it doesn't matter. Just put it in writing, and they didn't want to, and then they send someone else. Then he go. Another contractor coming on my job, rude.
Oh, it was another contractor.
Another contractor after the IH, you know, send another one because they knew we were right. And going on my job and being rude. We offered him to talk to him, so we tell him what we do, what's the scope, and he's being obnoxious, you know. And then he's sitting on that for another week or two because they're trying to figure it out, how to fit the stuff or how to make it look that there was not wrong in day one. Then it's you know what, just do it. And it's been couple of times with this insurance company. Well, asbestos style. Oh, they send one vendor, then the second another vendor, and then the third or second vendor. Some of them in the group, but
Now, are you a TPA vendor or are you no TPA?
no.
See,
Wait.
if I would test it, came back hot, call my IEP, call my test, and have a protocol written, call an asbestos company up, say, here's the protocol the IEP wrote up. Give me, let's do the work and all, and just give me your bid price. And I'd have just forced it on through. Like I wouldn't have waited for anybody else. I'd been making my calls and just making it happen personally.
Well, here's
But-
the end of the day, we are the professionals. And when we stop acting as the professionals, things get weird and problems happen. We have a job. Our job is to protect our clients and do a job according to the highest standards of the industry. And every time we have come out with a new technology, whether that's infrared cameras or Matterport, or that's, hey, by the way, we've got to test every single job for asbestos, we've gotten pushback. And it's taken years. We started testing years ago. I want to say 5-6 years ago, this really came to the forefront of, hey, we got the environmental protection, the EPA is coming after us, OSHA's coming after us, AHERA and all the indoor air quality. And that's when it's like, oh shit. And some of us got burned. The rest of us learned from those who got burned and started testing everything, but the adjusters were still not on board with it. So now we're on the tail end of that, where we had to push that as the professionals. We have to push the standard. And now we're on the tail end of that, where it's every now and then we get somebody on the adjuster side that says, oh, that's not necessary, but they're a minority now, but they used to be the majority.
Well, and a lot of problems also is a lot of companies, they're just complacent, it seems like anymore. Like I used to work at Belfort years and years ago, and here in Indianapolis. Even when I worked there, the corporate standing order was every single property had to be tested for asbestos on potential asbestos containing material. Every single job. But the problem is that the TPAs that Belfort was like working for at the time, they wouldn't give you the extra days to wait for the results. Like they were allowing you to have 3 to 4 days because they are a TPA office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they weren't, the only times you were testing was pre-81 commercial properties or multifamily dwellings that were more than 3 units. If it was a residential, they would just forget about it. And I think a lot of companies get a mindset where they're just like, hey, we got to get it done. We're getting pressured from, we're already getting kicked back on 3 to 4 days and all. And it's just because everyone is so used to getting the kickback and just settling, because you've talked before, Andy, about I can't wait an extra 45 days for $3,000, So I think a lot of people, they fall into that habit of just of complacency against these adjusters who are wrong, simply because they're trying to get paid something better than operating in a negative fashion or not having enough money to pay their employees. And it's unfortunate. If you can tell the difference in an adjuster easily. If there's an adjuster that's been there for 10+ years, easiest adjuster you'll ever work with. You get an adjuster that's been there for 2 weeks, and their default is if they don't know how to do it, you're not allowed to do it. The amount of adjusters I've heard that have been like, I've even said like trade value changes or support an event altered. I don't know. I don't know what that is. You're not allowed. I can't approve that.
I can't approve that.
Well, because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean you can't approve it.
It's a good thing I wasn't asking for your approval.
Yeah. It's like I said the other day, and all. I will happily discuss with anyone, TPA, adjuster, I don't care what. If you think my scope is wrong, or if you think my calculations for this line items are wrong, I will talk to you all day long about it. But the pricing per my line item is not up for debate. That is what it is. If you think I only took out 100 square feet and I charged $150, talk to me. But don't come to me and say you're charging $2 for a square foot and it should be $120. I don't care. It's not your call there.
It's not. At the end of the day, there is no subjectivity in the standards that we follow.
Well, it's just like that file you were looking at, Andy, just now. you said it's a water damage and then they're about to hit their max on their mold policy, right? Why? Why are they about to hit their max on their mold policy?
Because keep in mind, it was a $10,000 cap on mold, but it was a $93,000 water job
But why are they even touching the mold?
because it sat so long. They weren't allowed access to the property until the point where mold started to grow.
So the mold was secondary damages from a covered loss.
Yes.
So why are they accessing the mold policy to begin with? Mold policy is like, I'm remodeling my kitchen, I pull my cabinets out, and I find a patch of mold. I'm filing a claim for mold damage. That's a mold policy. Water damage, hey, you know, it was a leak behind the dishwasher. You're covering the water damage from the dishwasher.
It's an ensuing law. Yeah, I agree with you, but most carriers don't.
It's new water damage on the top of old water damage. So, how can you separate those two?
Well, and that's
No,
like,
you
well, when
can't.
I do a mitigation, I don't care about mold at all. Like if it's a basement, like let's say it's a sump pump failure in a basement. I know that, you know, and it's all, and they told me it happened a week ago. I know that I can justifiably charge up to 2 foot flood cuts, maybe 4 at the most, and that's it. So I'm going to do my mitigation 100%. Before I set any air movers up, though, then I'm going to stop and look at it and say, now that the mitigation is complete, is there any mold related work that needs to be done? And then that's what I'll separate out, because that was probably pre-existing or from a
100%.
secondary source.
100%. Yeah. If I can do my job as a water tech and get rid of the mold problem why even bring it up?
Because regardless of the category of water, with mold being present, you're going to have enough contamination to call it category 3. Category 3, you should be wearing PPE. You should be air scrubbing. You should be cleaning your studs and HEPA vacuuming. Now, the difference is like in a basement, I might only have to HEPA vacuum 2 square feet or a 2 foot flood cut down in the floors and all, maybe the rest of it, maybe they say that's part of the mold, but like 90% of it, most mold jobs should be covered under the water claim. It's no different than, for the longest time, a soft clog, a wad of toilet paper, you know, feminine products, a rag in a line that resulted in the line overflowing with water. Everyone would say that's a sewer backup. It's not covered without sewer coverage. Nowadays, everybody understands there's a difference between the sewer backing up and a clog and the line fills up with water. And it's that kind of mentality that we need to, as an industry, force upon the adjusters to understand. There's not a second claim here. That's what the secondary coverage is for. The mold is for a mold specific claim. This mold was due to this loss.
I agree. Hey, Mr. Lou, are you still, you got your ears on? You got your microphone muted. Do you have a take on this mold coverage, water versus mold?
Yeah, I do have a take, and I'm with Spears. I think that most of the mold situations that we deal with are the result of a covered loss, and as such, the $5,000 or $10,000 cap is really should mean nothing. But
it's irrelevant. Yeah.
You know, mold coverage is like, hey, my window was leaking and my couch sat in front of the window and I rearranged my furniture and I found a big patch of mold. There's not a water damage to dry out. The wall's actually dried out now, but the mold's growing. That's a mold policy coverage issue. But the mold, just like, hey, if we find asbestos or lead on a water job, it's not like you have to have you have to tap into asbestos and lead coverage. There's no reason to be tapping into the mold coverage. Now, if you're going to say that cross-contamination wise, the whole house has to be cleaned, well, there might be, that's the fine line, because then it might be, did you properly protect the HVAC system to prevent cross-contamination, things like that. But on average, yeah, if the who cares if there's 10 square feet or 100 square feet of mold? If you can justifiably remove it under your category, your water mitigation line items, and on, if the mold wasn't there, would I still remove this? Yep. Then it's not mold coverage related. It's only the stuff that you wouldn't take out. You're only taking out specifically for mold.
Yeah, but if you do water loss or water project, and you have you do hazard assessment in the beginning, and you have mold, Now you need to clean the contents or light cleaning the contents to bring
Well,
it back. It was there, but it's
well,
not.
the
an
question there
additional
is-
cost.
just because just because it's on it's growing, the question isn't so much is it there, did it become aerosolized? And if there's not, you're not putting a fan on mold blowing it around the house right away. Is there some particulates floating in there? Yes. But if you notice growth and you're doing your IEP stuff like everyone should anyways, necessarily does everything need to be cleaned? Without a surface swab, you don't really know, because just because the presence of growth is on a wall doesn't mean that it's in the air everywhere. It could just be physically on the wall only. So during your assessment, you should be identifying, and if it is on everything, well, if that growth was due to the loss, then yeah, you should clean all the contents. If there's not on the contents, put it under negative air, move your contents out, and you're good to go. I mean, it's the days of just, oh, there's mold, so there's mold everywhere. You can't operate like that. You have to.
No, but how you protect yourself down the road? They call you left mold in the house, or you didn't intermediate the mold, or there's mold now. There was no mold before. How you protect yourself from liability?
What state are you in?
You have to address it.
I'm in New Jersey. So,
well, in Indiana here, you do not have to be an IEP to do air sampling. If we see more than 10 square feet of microbial growth on a job, we'll go ahead and before we do any demo work, our guys all have air sampling kits. We'll take air samplings for our internal processing. And then we'll test and we'll figure out. And if it is everywhere in the house, they'll call me and say, hey, Joe, we have a whole house contamination issue. How do we want to address this? But we can tell. I mean, it's just like asbestos and lead. I'm an asbestos and lead tester. I don't do IEP work, but I'm allowed to. I took the class long enough to be able to take a sample. So now I can take the sample to the lab and get it turned in. If it comes back negative, we're great. If it's positive, then we'll call in an IEP at that time to double validate and then create the protocol.
okay.
Well, I think to Sean's question, if we find it, we are responsible. We are the professionals in charge at the time. It's our job site to be in control of. We need to address it. And if we don't address it, yeah, I agree. We should be held liable.
We do it. I used to bring IP on every job, and stack with bills. The insurance, they want to pay for that. Or we do a hazard assessment on everything. If we find something, we notify everybody. This is what we got. This is what we have. So now everybody know, and we give them an option to fix it, to bring an IH to write a protocol, or leave it alone and let the homeowner know their risk now. Now they can help us in writing and tell us we don't want you to do this or that. Oh yeah, I want to do it. So then we go and push to get approval, give them a price to get it done. Or if they want to have IH to write a protocol, bring an IP or IH to write a protocol. But we know that we clear from liability when we're done. It's everybody know about what's going on. They cannot come and tell us you didn't tell us.
Okay.
I mean, an IEP though, I mean, here's the thing is that like the S500, category 1 is from a sanitary source that poses very little health risks. Category 2 contains significant contaminations and may cause health issues. Category 3 is grossly contaminated material. There's no variance within the S500 of what is considered gross or significant or not. And right now I have been noticing over the last couple of years, there's a movement going that's going to start picking up speed, I'm sure, over the next few years, where people are testing the water on day one. They'll extract, they'll set up containment, dehues, and just like testing lead and asbestos, they'll take a little vial of the water, send it off to the lab, and validate how much contamination's in it. Because and obviously it says category 3 beyond the pipe P-trap, it's cat 3, no big deal. But especially on like a category 1, pipe burst, they'll do that. And it slows the process down. But if you're covering your
the
bases,
real difference?
Go ahead.
What's the real difference? And we're almost out of time. Well, what's the real difference between how you approach a job, cat 1 versus cat 3? What is the real difference?
You try to dry a lot more things in place or salvage as much as you can compared to on a cat 3. If it got hit, it's gone. Is the kind of the basics Cliff Notes version.
Well, water damage.
Use protection. That's all.
That's it.
That's all different.
That's it. That's the only difference is the protection you provide for your crews and your protection you set up in the environment for the client. That's the only difference. And what my understanding of the Xactimate portion of it is, the Cat 3 represents working in an environment where you have to be in PPE, you have to go inside, into and out of containments, you have to set up negative air. It reflects an efficiency, not an inherent more expensive way to do things, because you're still doing essentially the same stuff, right? It's just you're less efficient because you're working in an environment where you have a mask on or whatever else. Am I wrong? It's about efficiencies when it comes to pricing and Xactimate. It's not about what you actually do.
It's a bit about efficiency. It's also, I mean, you get paid more for handling sewage, sludge covered drywall compared to drywall that's clean. But that's why extraction has category 1, 2, and 3 extraction, but demolition is only category 1 or category 3, because Cat 1 and 2 losses are looked at as posing roughly the same amount of risk factors in it. But it is. I mean, the whole notion that a job should take 3 or 4 days of dry and that's it is old wives' tale mythology from back in the day before we knew as much as we do now. As we grow as an industry, we get more formalized. I mean, just in the 20 years I've been doing this, it's night and day difference on the way we do work. Nowadays, if it's taken 5 or 6 days because you're testing for lead, asbestos, if you're going to sample your water. Yeah, I mean, I remember back when nobody at all could get paid for an air scrubber on a category 1 job. Nowadays, it's in the book. Even a category 1 needs an air scrubber on site. I remember, I mean, back in the day, it was, you didn't have to be in full PPE all the time for certain things. And now they're like, silica dust is a real issue. Like, jobs take longer because we're covering our bases, because our employees are their bodies are worn out. Companies are open up for more liability, and honestly, people are more sue happy than ever now. Like, if a 3-day job 10 years ago might take 6 days now, and the insurance company just has to accept it. Like, that's just the world we live in.
100%. All right, it's been awesome. It's been fun, Sean. It's great to see you, man. And
it's awesome. I'm trying every time. I'm trying to log in if I can, if I don't forget.
I will try to find a way to make it easier, and I think we should change the time. And we've been at 1 o'clock on Thursdays Pacific for a while. It might be time to change it up.
Just put an alert in your phone. It cures all.
Yeah. My phone. If I had an alert for everything I had to do, my phone would never stop beeping.
Prioritize. 1 o'clock on Pacific time on a Thursday is a priority.
Yeah, but I think if we went after hours, it would provide more folks with the opportunity to join in. I think
Cocktail hour.
There you go. That's what it used to be. I think it was like 4 o'clock Pacific on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it was the Wednesday at 7 o'clock for us.
And it was beer 30 everywhere else. So
I play well with others. So whatever you guys decide, just let me know the change and I'll be there. Thanks for everything you guys do, man. This stuff's awesome.
Good to hear your voice, Lou. All right. And you too. Good to see you guys. I'll see you next week.
I'll see you in Orlando.
Oh, yes. Definitely next month in Orlando.
Bye.